For our house, the Cob Mahal, we took this old English West Country saying to heart. Give a cob house a good hat and a good pair of boots, and it'll last forever. Before we'd even gotten started on our cob walls, we'd made the decision to finish our roof first, so that our cob would have a good hat from the very beginning. Of course, the process of fashioning this hat and this pair of boots took us the better part of 3.5 years, but it was well worth it to be able to cob in the dry under a spectacular and functional roof. So, come on in, and I'll show you how we did it. The first step in building our roof happened when we were building our stone stem walls. Our design called for 2 concentric circular stone stem walls. We originally wanted an inner courtyard in our house without a roof, but then after spending our first summer in East Texas with all the mosquitoes and the humidity, we realized we wanted the entire house to be enclosed. But by this point, we'd already started our inner circle stem wall. So we opted to have a really thick interior wall that we could sculpt seating, shelves, and arches into. And this wall would give our inner stem wall and foundation a purpose. Our design also called for 4 doorways on the outer stem wall, 1 for each of the cardinal directions. We did this because we wanted to have good air circulation throughout the house. If you open the north and south door, you could have a cross breeze throughout the house, same with the east and west. So this called for 8 doors total, or at least openings, 4 doors for the outer circle and 4 doors for the inner circle. These 2 circles, inner circle and outer circle, would create a 14-foot distance between the 2 walls, so our interior rooms would always be 14 feet wide. Integrated within our dry stack stone wall were 28 concrete footings to support the outer circle posts. These footings were poured around 1/2-inch rebar, which was driven into wells within the stone wall to allow for a 12-inch diameter concrete mass at least 18 inches deep. On all our footings, the rebar stuck out 8 inches above the top of the concrete surface, so we could drill 8-inch deep holes in the bottoms of our logs and slide them onto the rebar. The exact dimensions of these footings varied depending on the size of the surrounding stones in the wall. While we did the outer footings within the wall, the inner 8 structural posts were installed on concrete footings poured into the ground. So why do we have these concrete footings in the first place? Well, the footings take the weight of the roof and distribute it evenly across the foundation, in this case our dry stack stone stem wall. So we have these concrete footings with rebar embedded in them. Why do we have rebar? Because the rebar is embedded in the posts, and we wanted our posts to be freestanding before we put our beams on, so this will prevent any sideways force from knocking the posts over. Why do we have the outer circle posts in the wall? Well, several reasons. It saves floor space. We don't have the posts sitting inside our 14-foot wide rooms, taking up a foot of space. And also to highlight the cob walls, not just the posts. Why do we have 28 of them? Well, we have 8 posts for the doorways, 1 on each side of the 4 doorways, and these are 8 feet apart. And we wanted the rest of the posts to be evenly spaced 10 feet apart. So that came out to 5 posts per quadrant, and not counting the 8 door posts. So that gives us a total of 28 posts. So why do we have 8 posts in the inner circle? Well, there's 2 for each doorway or cardinal direction. And so the way we measured that, we'll deal with next. We had some string lines that we did in each of the cardinal directions, and we measured 7 foot 1 inch from those string lines evenly for both the north-south and east-west directions.
This pink string is the center line of our east-west doors, and running all the way through the house. There's our center post there. And so also what we did is mark where our inner circle 8 posts are going to be. So we did that by measuring a 7 foot 1 inch offset from these center lines here. You can see the spray paint on the ground running parallel to these lines. That's this direction, and then turning 90 degrees, you can see that spray paint along this string here. So this string measures 7 feet 1 inch out, and you get that spray paint line. Same with that spray paint line right there. And then there's the post. So they should be 14 feet 2 inches apart from each other. And here's the west posts, 2 south posts, and again the east post and the north post.
We dug 8 24-inch deep holes in the ground, a long process during the summer of 2021, as we were digging into very compacted clay soil, and poured concrete into cardboard form tubes, which rose to our expected finished floor height.
Hey everybody, this is day 2 of our post setting of our inner circle post. We dug a 22-inch deep hole, and we've mixed up concrete, and we are now filling it all the way up to the top of the hole. Then we're going to measure the sonotube. We've decided it's going to be 30 inches long, and it'll stand up at the top of the concrete, and it will, at that level, reach the finished floor level, which is 14 inches above ground on the outer circle. First showed us pouring concrete into the hole for this post footing. Now we've measured and cut the sonotube, filled it up almost all the way, 2 inches shy about. So we are pouring about half a bag of concrete in there. There's the half bag, and we're gonna add some water and pour it in there all the way up to the top. Okay, the tube is done. We have finished the footing for our inner circle post. Hey everybody, it's Friday, July 6th, and here is a hole that we dug. We're gonna use this hole for the second of our 8 post footings for the inner circle. And look at that. We've got a 12-inch deep hole, another 12 inches, another maybe 10 inches, and we can put another concrete footing in there. So, good progress. So this is what a little thunderstorm does to our site. Water in the center. Water pretty much everywhere. Thought I was going to be digging a hole for the post footing there, but I can't even find the hole. So, that's cool. Hey everybody, it's August 25th and it's super hot. Probably heat index of 105 today, and we just came out. We promised it would just be 1 hour. Let's hope we stay honest. And we dug a hole for the second of the inner circle posts, of the 8 posts for the inner circle. So here's a look at it. It's 23 inches deep, more or less. Melanie has filled the bottom with fines, so it will drain well. And we are going to put in the rebar, and then we will pour concrete. I'll check back in with you after we get the concrete poured. Okay, bye-bye. And there we have it. Our second inner circle post footing has been poured. So this is the west side of the house. We have got the 2 west posts done. Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday, August 29th, and it's hole digging day. We have got holes started for all 8 of the inner circle posts. And 3 out of those 8, this one here, 1, that one there, 2, and that one there, 3, are done. We have poured the concrete. And then this one, we've got a few more inches to go. What would you say, Melanie? How deep is this one? Yeah, let's take a look. So, about 16? Yep. So we're trying to get to 2 feet. on most of them. Sometimes we hit clay and we're like, all right, 23 inches is good, but aiming towards 2 feet like this one here. This is 24 inches deep. Let me get in and show you. So that's coming up to above my knee, so pretty good.
Talk about the layers that you can see.
Oh yeah, so yeah, if you can see from here, you can see about 12 inches down, the soil turns from kind of a nice tan color to this beautiful orange Martian red clay. There's a spider. Hopefully he'll get out. Might have to rescue. But yeah, there's kind of a soil profile for us for the site. It varies from hole to hole, but usually in most of them we find that red clay around a foot down, which is very difficult to dig through.
And also talk about how we figured out when it's clay, water.
Yeah, so our technique we've been doing is when we hit that impenetrable clay, we get a bucket of water and we pour it in the hole and let it sit, let it percolate, and that makes it a lot easier to dig. So that's what we did last night. Let's check these holes here. Yeah, we only got about 4 inches in this hole and all the water has soaked in, so that should be pretty easy to dig today, hopefully. So we'll see how far we get today. We need to go and get more concrete, more sonotubes, but hopefully we will have at least another hole dug to the full depth, and maybe we'll pour another footing as well. All right, everybody, we will check in with you later. Bye-bye. Nalini has done most of the work today. This is the post that she finished pouring while I was starting the coals for grilling some steaks. It's looking awesome. So that was done. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 posts finished. And we have started on number 5. Right here. So the rebar is plumb. We're just gonna leave it as is right now. Come back tomorrow and finish up. Okay, so all in all, great day's work. Very happy with our progress. Catch you later, y'all. Peace. Howdy, everybody. It's August 30th, Monday, 2021, and we made a lot of progress on our inner circle post footings. So let me show you what we got here. This is our work today. The 5th post footing has been poured. So this is about 22 inches tall. A little shorter than the 2 west post footings we have done, and taller than the east post footing and this southeast one here. But all in all, we've got 5 poured now, so we only have 1, 2, 3 more to go. Hi everybody, it's September 1st.
Hi.
What year is it? 2021? Yeah, that's right. And we have finished the final 2 of the 8 post inner circle post footing holes. Just to be specific. So out of the 8, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are done, at least concrete wise. We have 1 that we did this morning that has the hole dug, and we got the sonotube measured, and it's sitting there. We just need to pour some concrete. And then finally, this afternoon, we finished the final 8th hole. So tomorrow we're gonna buy a bunch of concrete and we will pour it all, and then we will have these 8 inner circle post footings finished. then we can start thinking about a roof. That is going to be great. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hi, folks. It's September 3rd, 2021, and we have post number 7 of the inner circle post footings poured. Check it out. Ta-da! Yay! So this one was a little hard to do because our sonotube was a little bit too short, about an inch too short, so we had to just pour concrete at the bottom and then kind of set the sonotube on top. And the concrete we poured a little too wet, so the concrete was kind of seeping out from the bottom, so that's why we piled up all these fines at the bottom, but it's working out. It looks great. So 7 out of 8 are done. Okay, big moment here, folks. As of September 22nd, 2021, we now have, we've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3, we've got 4, we've got 5, we've got 6, we've got 7, and we've got 8 inner circle post footings poured. Let's look at them again. Did this one August 30th. What's that, July 15th? Yeah. August 26th. You're just hopping around. Then the latest. Yeah, looks like it's set. September 22nd. And August 31st. September 3rd. August 28th. And August 29th. So there we go. In 3 months, we've got 8 post footings poured. Looks great.
We also poured 2 huge 3-foot diameter footings for the 2 loft posts, which were massive bald cypress logs our friend Kat found for us. We had to get creative on forms for these since we couldn't find cardboard form tubes big enough. For the first one, we used some leftover chicken wire with some reused plastic sheeting, which was a big challenge to work with. I wouldn't recommend it. It taught us a lesson before we did the second one, which we fashioned out of 2 rubber mats and some ratcheting straps. The second one was not only easier to make, it was much nicer looking, and probably stronger too.
Hey folks, it's July 27th, 2022, and here's a progress report for today. You see this post that we've already done here, this post footing. It's a big glob of concrete. We used chicken wire and plastic, clear plastic that was gonna be thrown away anyway. So in terms of like reusing, it was great, but it's not the prettiest, and hopefully structurally it's okay, but we decided to improve on that a little bit today. So instead, we use these black rubber mats. They're about 1/2 inch thick, so they're really heavy duty. We put ratchet straps around them to hold them in place, and then we poured inside of them. So now we've got fully troweled. David and I fully troweled and leveled this finish here, so it just has to dry. And then that's it. That's all we have to do for the inner circle, except for filling in all this dirt around it, leveling. We've got a 2% slope from the from the center rebar right there, going down to the wall. So once everything is graded according to that slope from center to wall, then we will add this drain rock, a 4-inch layer of drain rock. July 28th, 2022, and behold the monolith. Turned out pretty good. Very, very sharp, crisp sides there. Little bit of a reveal of the stone that we put in there. Hopefully those voids aren't going to be a structural issue. I don't think they're big enough to be a problem. There's some hollow spots right there. But a lot of this is going to be buried 8 inches at least on top of where we get this ground level here. So if you draw a line from that higher orange dirt to the footing and then add 8 inches on top of that, that's where it will be. So you'll probably only see like a foot of this footing after we do the flex base, and then we'll even add our floor. So not gonna see much of this.
All right, yo, that's it for the very bottom of our good hat, the post footings. A little higher up on the hat, next time, we're going to be talking about the posts themselves. So, thank y'all for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Peace and love.
The sun keeps coming up in my mind, revealing things I hope to find, melting away the frozen thoughts I'd left behind.